To everybody on the call, I wanted to mention that His Grace Praneshwar Prabhu has been one of my wonderful Bhakti Shastri teachers, going back, I think, more than 10 years now. And so many things that we hear and we take it for granted. For the first time, I got the chance to hear from Praneshwar Prabhu only. Like the difference between Brahmavadi, Mayavadi, all of these concepts, very wonderfully Prabhuji taught. I even remember that we were all supposed to do a small skit, and I made a mistake by saying that Ajamil, he was rescued by the Vishnu Dutas and he went back home in one lifetime, in that same life. I said that Vishnu Dutas took him from there only. And Praneshwar Prabhu so lovingly, he at the end of the thing, he commented, but the comment didn't even seem like a correction. And I carry that in my heart till this very day. So whenever I speak about Ajamil and I say that after that he took one life and he did Hari Bhajan and he went, I always remember that Praneshwar Prabhu was the one who taught me that. So many wonderful things, even from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, what is Falgu Vairagya, what is Yukta Vairagya, all these verses Praneshwar Prabhu only taught. So I am coming here as a beggar to simply beg for more juice.
Amarendra Prabhu, everybody knows your contribution, immense contribution in ISKCON today. And had I known that you are going to be there, I would have disappeared. I wouldn't have been here.
So, thank you, Prabhuji. Praneshwar Prabhuji, let us start.
Fine.
Thank you very much.
I would just like to say, but that we really, I have maybe hundreds of fans of Amarendra Prabhu here also in Madhya Pradesh. And I'm preaching in Madhya Pradesh in India. And so many of them, they are all listening to Amarendra Prabhu every day. Right? So whatever new videos come, they are always looking eagerly towards him. Right? So he is one of our stars in ISKCON.
Very cool. No one can deny that we have two stars today, Praneshwar Prabhuji.
No. I'm not a star. I'm a very small devotee in ISKCON.
Star for us, Prabhuji, because personally as well. Let us actually start. I'll introduce you, and then we can start the lecture, Prabhuji.
Fine.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So welcome back to the Sravan Utsav. As we were discussing earlier as well, we are very fortunate to have His Grace Praneshwar Prabhuji here today for the Sravan Utsav. A brief introduction of Prabhuji. Prabhuji was actually born and brought up in Mumbai and belongs to a South Indian family. He did his mechanical engineering from Pune University in 1993. Then he did Masters in Philosophy and Religion from Madurai Kamaraj University. And currently he's pursuing PhD in the field of spirituality from Madurai Kamaraj University. After finishing his studies in 1993, he worked for 3 years in a multinational company. He came in touch with ISKCON devotees in 1995 in Juhu, Mumbai, and joined as a full-time brahmachari in 1997. He's a disciple of His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, and he has taken both his Harinam Diksha and Brahman Diksha from Maharaj. He served the Bhaktivedanta Institute for 2 years, and after that he served the ISKCON Youth Forum and looked after the youth preaching department for 13 years till 2013. And most of the time, like most of the division, he was the head of the department for that youth preaching area in Juhu. And apart from this, he was also involved with brahmachari training, helping in organizing festivals, various event management. And from 2013 onwards till date, he is in ISKCON Indore under the kind guidance of Mahaman Prabhuji, and he's serving there as vice president. Praneshwar Prabhuji is serving there as a vice president for Indore, and he's a regional secretary for Madhya Pradesh. In Indore, he is involved in temple management, youth preaching, congregational preaching, fundraising. Also, he has started several preaching projects. I think like 2 years ago when Prabhuji was here, there were only 4 centers that he had started. But now the list just goes on. He has started now programs in Gwalior, Devas, Rao, Mo, Chhindwara, Ratlam, Rewa, Vidisha, Shivpuri, Shahadol, Khandwa, Umriya, etc. So it is just he's exploding the preaching in Indore and in Madhya Pradesh, Indore and the places around in Madhya Pradesh. And if you go sometimes there in Indore, you will find that everyone is chanting Hare Krishna. And you will not be surprised. You will know that Praneshwar Prabhuji has been there. And apart from the above, he is also involved in teaching Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav in Vrindavan Institute as well as Mayapur Institute. And as Amrinder Prabhuji was mentioning, he did Bhakti Shastri with Praneshwar Prabhuji. Both Anand Manjari and I also did Bhakti Shastri with Praneshwar Prabhuji. And all of you who have done Bhakti Shastri in Wellington, they have also were taught by Praneshwar Prabhuji. So he has contribution, like his devotional and spiritual contribution just is not limited to Indore or Madhya Pradesh, but he is helping all of us everywhere. And when it was possible for him to travel, at that time he was traveling, of course, he was coming to New Zealand, he was going to Mauritius, Muscat, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Fiji. So as you can imagine, Prabhuji is super busy. But in that busy schedule as well, Prabhuji has found some time for all of us. And he has come here for sharing his transcendental wisdom with all of us. So let us, with a very grateful heart, let's welcome him by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly to welcome him.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Ambarish Maharaj Prabhu. Actually, I am I had the opportunity to be in Wellington, and I think maybe 2 times, and for teaching Bhakti Shastri, and I was very inspired by the preaching which Ambarish Maharaj Prabhu and Anand Manjari Mataji they are doing. So, and so much of hard work we used to see also practically the sessions and all. And also, of course, the team is also great, very nice team in Wellington. And I remember some of the faces. Some are new for me, but most of the faces they are familiar to me. So again, very happy to be here, and thank you very much, Ambarish Prabhu. Though I think we had postponed 1 or 2 times, but finally I could make it. One thing, what I don't know what I mean, so many things you said about me, whether they are true or not. But one thing is true, that yes, I am by the mercy of the Lord super busy, right? So even today, right, the schedule has been really very hectic. But I'm again very happy. So many things are going on in my head, so many management things and all. Right, this is one of the, I should say, drawbacks of being both a manager and a preacher. Right, so but then we have to do it. Somebody has to do it. Wali baat hai. So let us dive into the Krishna book. So we are doing chapter 17, right? I believe, and so I went through chapter 17. So most of the content in the chapter 17 is about the Kaliya, right? Daman leela, and towards the end there is a short paragraph. So the chapter's name is there, Extinguishing the Forest Fire. So most of it is Kaliya Daman leela. So I would like to speak about Kaliya Daman leela more. Right. So I have a PPT which I would like to share, which I had given some lecture on Kaliya Daman leela earlier. I'd like to share some images from the PPT. You can give me some sharing rights.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have given it to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurummilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshtarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again, it would have been nice if Amarendra Prabhu would have spoken and I would have heard. But I have heard some of his lectures, and I have for giving some lectures. I've heard one Jagannath lecture. Jagannath pastimes was so nice, right? So, but still, okay. So if we want it like this, so I'll share some things. So I had the opportunity to visit this Fiji and ISKCON Lautoka, right? So there is one city there, Lautoka in Fiji, and the only deity in the world, Sri Krishna Kaliya deity is there in Lautoka, Fiji, right? So it is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam also that Krishna, this Kaliya snake is snake's original home is in Ramanaka Dweep, right? So Ramanaka Dweep is supposed to be Fiji Islands. Right, so we had the opportunity to take darshan, very nice deities surrounded by Nagapatnis. Krishna Kaliya surrounded by Nagapatnis. Right, so in this particular leela, it is said that Krishna actually purified water. Right, so Krishna purified all the 5 elements with different leelas. Like, for example, this chapter, Extinguishing the Fire. So he actually purified fire by swallowing fire. He purified air by killing in the Trinavat Leela. Right? He purified earth by eating mud. Right? We know that Leela wherein Krishna actually ate mud. And yeah. And so Krishna actually ate mud, and in that there's an interesting thing in that someone said that Krishna ate mud or didn't eat mud, right? So what do you say? Did Krishna eat mud or did Krishna not eat mud? So one devotee said the answer is it depends upon which party you are in. If you are in Balram's party, then Krishna did eat mud. And if you are in Krishna's party, then Krishna did not eat mud. Right? So we have to see which party we fit in. And so mud, when he ate mud, at that time Krishna purified earth. And he purified air in the Trinavat Leela, water by subduing Kaliya, and fire by swallowing it. So this is some interesting point here. And so Kaliya's past life is also mentioned. Can you go to the next slide, Amrishwar? Yeah. So Kaliya's past life is also very interesting. That in his past life, this Kaliya Nag, he was sage Veda Shira. He was a sage Veda Shira, and so there are 2 sages given, 2 rishis given. And actually, we find in those times, actually, when the sages were there, a lot of sages used to curse each other. Right? We know about Vishwamitra and Vashishta Muni. Right? So many times they curse each other. Right? So like that, this Veda Shira sage had an ashram. And Ashwashira Muni once entered in his ashram, and he wanted to actually do some austerities. He wanted to use Vedashira's ashram for performing austerities. So at that time, Vedashira, he was so much attached to his beautiful ashram. So he just got angry on Ashwashira Muni and told him, "You please get the hell out of here, and you cannot perform any austerities here. You cannot use my ashram, right, for performing austerities." This is in contrast with how the Goswamis, they were not even attached, 6 Goswamis in Vrindavan, they were not even attached to the tree where they would sleep. They used to even change the trees so that they don't get attached. So this is the difference between, we can say, sages and pure devotees. So, so Ashwashira Muni, he felt very offended, and he cursed him that you are behaving like a serpent who is very angry and envious, right, to others. Therefore, I curse you. You should become a snake. Then, so as usual, when one sage curses, the other one also curses. So therefore, Vedashira also cursed Ashwashira Muni and said that, okay, if I have to become a snake, then you become a crow. Right. So there were two personalities, two great personalities, right, born. Right. One is Kaliya Nag, and Ashwashira Muni became Kak Busundi, the crow called Busundi. So at that time it is said that Lord Vishnu appeared, because these two were great sages. Lord Vishnu appeared and said that, I mean, whatever has happened is not good, right? So, but at the same time, since you are both equally devoted to the truth, to the absolute truth, and you're devoted to me, so, and since you are my, right, devotees, so I cannot nullify the curse, right? So they will be there. But what I will do is, I will put my footprints on your head. And he told Vedashira that I will put my footprints on your head. When you will become a snake, you will become Kaliya snake, and I'll put my footprints on your head. And because of that, you won't have to fear Garuda. Right? So right in the beginning, he was told like that. And for him, for the crow, Kak Busundi, Lord Vishnu told Ashwashira Muni that you will have the form of a crow, but at the same time, you will be reciting my pastimes of, especially of Ramayana. Right? So you'll have great transcendental knowledge. Right? So all this is given in the Garga Samhita. In the Garga Samhita. So Vedashira, he became Kaliya Nag, and Ashwashira became Kak Busundi. Right? So this is from the past. Right? Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is a darshan of the deities in ISKCON Lotoka, right, Fiji. Sri Krishna Kaliya deity surrounded, right. So there is Lord Krishna, there is Kaliya Nag, and there are the Nagapatnis. Right. So Srila Prabhupada also mentions about this, and Srila Prabhupada, he actually installed this deity. He was there in Lautoka. Yeah. And so now, why did Krishna leave Ramanak Dweep and come to the Yamuna? Right. So that the pastime is there, and there are so many things which we can learn from this pastime and from this chapter. And can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So I don't know whether this has been recited or not by the last speaker, but I can still, if it is recited, I can just repeat it. So we have Kaliya, we have Garuda, and we have Saubhari Muni. Background story is there, and also we can learn from this something about Vaishnava Parat. Right. So it is given that actually Garuda, being in the, he's very exalted Vaishnava, carrier of Lord Vishnu, but at the same time he's in the body of a eagle, right, half man, half eagle. So in this body, he's allowed to actually eat fish and snakes. Is allowed, right? So there is no problem if he does that, right? So therefore, so when Garuda, he used to eat snakes. Actually, Garuda and snakes, they have a natural enmity. Also, all the snakes are terrified of Garuda. So he used to eat snakes. So at that time, Saubhari Muni was there. Sorry, not Saubhari Muni. So Garuda used to eat snakes. So at that time, the snakes actually they made a truce with Garuda. They said that we will offer one snake to you, right? And you please be, pleased by this offering. In another place, it is written that the snake was not being offered, but some humans were also there, and the humans offered something else. Some other offering was there, but whatever offering was there, that for some time it continued. But then Kaliya Nag, because of Kaliya Nag is one of the what is the Maha snakes. Maha snakes. There were some Maha snakes born out of Kadru. Right? One of the wives of Kashyapa Muni is Kadru. So Kadru had even Anant Shesh, it is given, right? And then Kaliya and some other snakes were Maha snakes which are born of Kadru. So Kadru is also said to be an expansion of Rohini. Rohini is the mother of Balaram, right? So Balaramji's expansion is Sheshnag, right, or Ananda Shesh. So it is given Ananda Shesh was also appeared from Kadru. And Kaliya, right? So Kaliya Nag is one of the Maha snakes, right? So she was very powerful, super powerful, had thousands of hoods, right, and so much of poison within him. So Kaliya Nag started eating the offerings, and then so when Garuda he heard that, so there was a confrontation between Garuda. You can see from the picture there was a fight between Garuda and Kaliya Nag. Kaliya Nag was spitting venom on Garuda. And when Garuda used to come closer, he used to bite him with his fangs and all. But Garuda actually, he was, right, because he's a carrier of the Lord, right, and an exalted Vaishnava, so he was much more powerful than Kaliya. And with his golden wings, it is given, he actually slapped Kaliya. So Kaliya, he was subdued by Garuda. And then Kaliya was running here and there. So it is given that everywhere he ran, he saw Garuda. Throughout the whole universe, different planetary systems, just like Durvasa Muni was running. So Kaliya Nag, finally, he went to Anand Shesh and he asked him where he should take shelter. And it is given that Anand Shesh, Shesh Nag, suggested that you go to Yamuna. Right, because Yamuna had a story, right? So there's a different story there that Garuda, he used to go there and eat fish. Right, so one day he ate the leader of the fish. Right, so those fish went to Saubhari Muni, who was performing austerities under the water. And Saubhari Muni, out of this, because he didn't understand the position of Garuda, right? So he had material compassion over for the fishes in Yamuna Lake. So it is given that because of material compassion and because he did not understand the exalted position of Garuda, he made two mistakes. One is he ordered Garuda not to come there, right? And he stopped Garuda from eating fish. Right, so he proclaimed a curse that if Garuda comes here, then he will lose his life. Right. So this cannot happen because actually, right, Garuda cannot lose his life. Right. First of all, Garuda is eternal. Right. So, but Garuda actually wanted to respect, right, Saubhari Muni, because he's a yogi, so he wanted to respect Saubhari Muni's words. So therefore, he accepted the curse and he was not going there. So when Kaliya, he heard this, so he took shelter of the Yamuna lake. Now, there's an interesting point here that he took shelter because Garuda could not come there. Right? But actually, Krishna drove him away from the Yamuna. Right? So if you're not taking, if you're fighting with Krishna's devotee, then Krishna does not want you there also. So Krishna did not want him in the Yamuna. Right? So from the Saubhari Muni episode, we can learn so much. about Vaishnava Prad. So what happened to Saubhari Muni? Saubhari Muni was sitting thousands of years within the Yamuna, and he was not affected by any kind of lust or right, any kind of material emotions. But as soon as he committed offense against Garuda, he actually was struck by lust. He just saw two fish copulating. He must have seen that so many times, but nothing happened to him. But as soon as he committed this aparad against Garuda, immediately lust, right, arose within him, and he came out and he actually married some 50 princesses, and for a long time he forgot everything. He forgot about austerities, he forgot everything, and he was into material enjoyment for a long time. And then finally, because he had once taken shelter of the Yamuna, and right, so he again remembered back. So a long time passed. Right? So this is something which happens if one commits Vaishnava Aparadh. Right? Not even a speck of Vaishnava Aparadh goes actually. What do you say? No one can go scot free. There is no exemption for anybody. Any small what is it, small person, big person, yogi, even Vaishnavas, if they fight with each other, even then, right, Vaishnava Aparadh will always be there. And so one of the results of Vaishnava Aparadh is that one gets into material enjoyment. This is what happened to Saubhari Muni. And this can happen to devotees also. Right? It's not that since I am a Vaishnava, therefore I am exempted from Vaishnava Aparadh. No. Right? So we are not exempt. No one is big enough to be exempted from Vaishnava. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even told his mother that you have committed offense against Advaita Acharya. And because Sachimata thought that because of Advaita Acharya, Vishwarup, her elder son, became a sannyasi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you will not get love of God, you will not get Krishna Prem. He told his mother also. So if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother is not exempted, then who is exempted? There's no one. There's no one. So everyone must be very careful about two things. All Vaishnavas must be careful about two things. One is Maya, the other is Vaishnava. And if one commits Vaishnava, then Maya, you cannot be free from Maya. Then one must fall down, right? So therefore we should learn from this Saubhari Muni episode. So all our anarthas and all will be multiplied. We will not be able to control our anarthas. Right now, Krishna is actually keeping the anarthas down and allowing us to perform devotional service. But as soon as we become proud like Saubhari Muni, right, and think that we can offend Vaishnavas, then we will not be able to keep our lust, anger, greed, and other things down. So this is a very great lesson which we can learn from this Saubhari Muni episode. And we even have Daksha Prajapati's lesson when Daksha Prajapati committed offense against his own daughter Sati and also Lord Shiva. So he practically lost everything. He lost his life, first of all. And even when Daksha was born again, it is given that Narad Muni, he 10,000, he showed the path of renunciation to 10,000 sons of Daksha Prajapati, and then again 1,000 sons of Daksha Prajapati. And Daksha Prajapati became furious at Narad Muni. So Narad Muni went to meet him in order to deliver Daksha. It is given. Because Narad Muni had delivered his family, his descendants and his ancestors also. So Narad Muni thought only Daksha Prajapati is left, let me go and deliver him also. So as soon as he approached Daksha Prajapati was furious with him. He cursed Narad Muni. And Narad Muni, it is given in that that episode that Narad Muni could have left the area after being cursed, but he did not move. Narad Muni acted very humbly. And Narad Muni was waiting that there might be a change in heart in Daksha Prajapati. Daksha Prajapati might see that even though I can curse him back, Narad Muni was thinking, I can curse him back, but I did not do so. No counter cursing was done. Whenever two sages meet, and if they have the power to curse each other, they do that. But Narad Muni did not curse Daksha Prajapati back. And Narad Muni was thinking that this might change his heart. But when that didn't happen, then it is given very interesting. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says there that Narad Muni thought that the only reason why Daksha Prajapati's heart did not transform is because of the remnants of the offenses which were done by him towards Lord Shiva. Remnants. So Narad Muni thought that how powerful is Vaishnava Prat towards, this is the power of Vaishnava Prat. So Narad Muni could not change Daksha Prajapati's heart. So like that, there are many incidents about Vaishnava Aparad offenses, and so which we can, so we should never take it lightly. It is given the Vaishnava Aparad is mad elephant offense, destroying a garden. Why a garden is given? Because a garden takes years and years to build. You put the seeds and you have to water and everything. So like that, Bhakti Lata is there. Seed of devotional service. Then we have to water and water and water and water. And then we become a devotee. We have some credit, devotional credit. And that's like a garden, right? Which has taken years. And one fine moment, a mad elephant is let loose there, and a mad elephant uproots the creepers, uproots the plants. Right? So Vaishnava Aparad actually uproots our creeper of devotional service. And so therefore, under no condition we should offend Vaishnavas. They may be junior, they may be equal, they may be senior. Right? So we should always remind ourselves of this. We should always hear about this again and again. And so this is one thing which has been given in this chapter, the words of Hari Muni. And okay, so let us go to, can you go to slide 7 about Balramji? I'm not taking everything here because some of the pastime has been covered in the last chapter. Yeah, right, thank you. Yes. So Balramji's mood during Kaliya Leela. This is very interesting here, right? So Lord Balram, he came there, he was also on the banks. And all the others, he could see all the devotees, Brajvasis there, they were in great anguish during when they saw Krishna was fighting with Kaliya. So, but Lord Balram was laughing. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Lord Balram was laughing because Lord Balram thought that Krishna never cares to play with me in my form of Sheshanag. But now he is playing with this ordinary mundane snake named Kaliya. So you can see here Lord Balram is smiling. And so he's thinking that what is this? Krishna doesn't play with me. Right? I am there. If Krishna wants to play with snakes, I am there as Anand Shesh. But he's now playing with this ordinary snake. This is what ordinary mundane snake called Kaliya. So it's also given that why Krishna and Balram, they allowed the devotees to suffer, right? Because they were in such great suffering when they saw Krishna fighting with Kaliya. So why did Krishna and Balram allow the devotees to suffer great anguish? So that question may arise. So therefore it is given that all the inhabitants of Vrindavan who were there on the banks and they were watching this Krishna Kaliya fight, they did not experience any material emotions. So the fear and all, everything was transcendental, and everything was there to intensify Krishna's, their love for Krishna to the highest degree. Right, so prema is there, but prema is not the end. Right, so there are levels of prema. Right, there is sneha, mana. Right, so there are different levels and flavors in prema also. Right, ending with Mahabhava, which is the greatest transcendental emotion, greatest level of prema, which is experienced by Srimati Radharani, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, even though the Vrajavasis have prema, through these kind of leelas, Krishna actually intensifies their prema. Right. So therefore, we have to see the situation wherein whenever Vrajavasis are fearful and all, all the emotions are spiritual emotions and they are not material emotions. Yeah. So, okay, so. Yeah, can you go to slide 15th? Yes. Yeah. So the importance of stamps on our body, right? So there's a very nice point here that Krishna actually put the stamp of his lotus feet on Kaliya's head and freed him from the fear of Garuda. So similarly, we have stamps on our body which can actually free us from the fear of at least Yamadutas, if not anybody else. Right? So we have tilak, right? So all over the body. So these are stamps, just like Kaliya had a stamp, and that stamp made him fearless later on. Right? Whenever Garuda used to see that stamp, he used to, in one sense, used to be friends with Kaliya. Both were Kaliya actually also became the Vahana of Krishna. It is given that sometimes in the next slide it's given. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, right. So Krishna rewards Kaliya. It is given. You can see in the picture that how Krishna is actually here. He is not fighting with Kaliya. In fact, he is traveling with Kaliya. So Kaliya is also mentioned as Garuda Dhwaja. He whose flag is marked by the symbol of his carrier, Garuda. So Kaliya also desired to become the Lord's carrier, just like Garuda. Right. So it is said that Kaliya indicated to Lord Krishna that if you ever have to go to any distant place, you should also think of me as your personal carrier. I am the servant of your servant, and in the wink of an eye, that means within no time, I can travel hundreds of millions of yojanas. Right. So it is given in the Puranas that when sometimes in the eternal cycle of pastimes of the Lord, when sometimes orders Lord Krishna to come to Mathura, so Krishna goes from Vrindavan to Mathura mounted on Kaliya. Right, from Vrindavan to Mathura, sometimes Krishna rides on Kaliya. So it is given like that. So I think that's it. Right, so I'd like to stop here. Right, so these are something that the chapter, of course, ends with the extinguishing the forest fire. Right, so right, so after resting, it's given that after this Krishna Kaliya leela, it was too late, and the Vrajavasis, they thought that it is better to rest here. So they were resting on the banks of the Yamuna, and at night, right, there was a fire. Suddenly there was fire. So the Vrajavasis, some of the Vrajavasis got up, and then they said that Krishna, Krishna, please, you save us from this fire. So, right, so we can, what we can learn from this? We can learn from this that for the devotees, the only shelter is the Lord. They did not search for fire extinguishers, right? They did not search for water, right? They didn't think that let us take water from the Yamuna and try to extinguish the fire. Of course, not that we should not do that, but we can see here the Vrajavasis' dependence upon the Lord as the only shelter. So within our hearts also, we should always think, right, even though we may have some backups with us in our life, but we have to know that each one of our backup is dependent on the Lord. So therefore, the only shelter is the Lord. Someone had sent me an image very long back, so that image I still keep on my DP. I never change my DP or status or whatever. There's no time, right, to do all those things. But there's one DP which I've kept it. I think I'm going to keep it eternally, right? Right. So that DP says that in the morning, if you wake up knowing that Krishna is on your side, that's it, finish. We don't need anything else. We just need Krishna on our side. That's all. Right. In all dangers, right? Krishna, right? So, right. The biggest danger for us is the Kaliya Nag within our heart, the envy within our heart, right? The poison in our hearts. Right? So, but in all types of dangers, we should take shelter of the Lord. And we should also pray to the Lord that just like He removed the poison from Kaliya, right, and made him a devotee, like that He can remove the poison from our hearts and make us a devotee also. So yes, if there are any questions, we have some time, I think. Ambarish Manashu.
Yes, Prabhuji. As long as you have time.
If there are any questions, you can ask Amarendra Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Praneshwar Prabhuji. It was a wonderful class, and you gave various insights and referred to various Puranas as well, and brought in those details about the inside story about Kaliya. So thank you, Prabhuji.
Whatever possible within my, as I said, schedule's very busy. I could have maybe shared better. I don't know, but whatever I could do.
No, your association and your words both are powerful. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. There are a few questions devotees have raised in hands. Yes. So we will take those questions, Prabhuji. Bharadwaj Shri Prabhu, please go ahead.
Difficult questions are not allowed.
Hare Krishna, Praneshwar Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. It's so good to see you after long time, Prabhuji.
Same here.
It's so nice, Prabhuji. And thank you for the wonderful, insightful lecture, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is, you mentioned about material emotions and transcendental emotions. Yes. See, even though Vrajavasis are, they are also in the material bodies. Right. Yes. So how do we distinguish like the material emotions from transcendental emotions, and how can we feel like, how can we like when we feel an emotion, how can we distinguish what is what?
Right. So first of all, Vrajavasis, their bodies are not material. Their bodies are just like iron rod which is in fire. Right. If an iron rod is completely within fire, then it is fire. Right. There, if somebody conducts a test on that iron rod which is in fire, they will not, they will see there are no properties of iron there. There's only properties of fire.
Right.
So similarly, the body of Rajvasis, even though they may be in the material realm, even though they may be made of matter, but that is matter surcharged with spirit. Right? So in one sense, it's spiritual. In that sense, it is spiritual. In that sense, the body of the Guru, spiritual master, is spiritual. Even though it may be made of material elements. Right? So that's first thing. And second thing is, we have to be sure that our emotions are material and not spiritual. And because we are neophytes. Right? So now sometimes when we take darshan of the Lord, tears might come. So what are those tears? Are they good or bad? They're good, no problem actually. But we should know that they are not spiritual. They are on the mental platform. They are on the platform of the subtle body. They are not on the platform of the soul. They're not spiritual. Now, when do they become spiritual emotions? When somebody reaches the platform of bhava, right? Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sang, right? Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. 9 stages are there. Right? So when can they be transcendental emotions, spiritual emotions? When we have crossed Asakti. Right? So if our condition is that we cannot live a moment without Krishna, just like a fish cannot live without water, then we can say that yes, our emotions are spiritual. This is scientifically understanding. And even then, it is given, even if somebody has transcendental emotions, they don't reveal it. Our acharyas have taught, Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas have taught that they should not be revealed in public. We have so many people, they come to Vrindavan especially, and so they'll dance in front of the deities and suddenly fall down. So in ISKCON, everybody is trained not to even look at them. We don't give any importance to them. And after some time, these people, they get up and go away. Right? So therefore, this is a difference between material emotions and transcendental emotions. So are material emotions good? Yes, they are good. No problem. If tears are coming, fine. No problem. But not that we do it in public. Not that we do it intentionally. Not that we do it casually. But if emotions come within us, fine. Good. Krishna loves those emotions also which are on the mental level. But at the same time, we should know that we should not misunderstand our level. We should not start thinking, now I'm crying for Krishna. Wow, I've become such an advanced devotee. We should not
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sudharma Mataji or Sudharma Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
After a long time, we get to hear from you.
Yes. After a long time, I am getting to
Oh,
some association of Wellington devotees. Yes.
you both have questions. I will go first. So mine is simple, Prabhu. We talked about the fire. What the fire represents, Prabhu? Is there any philosophical understanding is there?
What the fire represents, you're saying?
Yeah. That leela.
Acha. Nothing like that is given as such that if the fire represents anything.
Okay.
But I can check again and maybe get back to Ambarish Prabhu, or I can put in the group. As of now, I do not know if the fire represents anything. No.
I've got a question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thanks for the wonderful lecture. My question is about Vaishnava Aparadh. You talked about it very nicely. Sometimes, like I know, like it's not like intentionally people may do aparadh, like, they may do something like even they say, like, if you are not feeling happy on seeing Vaishnava, that's also aparadh.
Right.
It's not like you may be in a different mood or anything at the time, and then it may happen like you are not actually expressing the happiness, or or
Yes.
you're not wishing them when you see them. So are these also counted as aparadh? Like, and how we can avoid these things? Like, how we have to feel like, we have to keep aside our individual thoughts and come into a different world when we are in association of devotees.
Yes, yes, yes. So our vision has to go beyond the body as much as possible, and we have to, of course, that happens when we make advancement in Krishna consciousness. The more we make advancement in Krishna consciousness, the more we don't see the body and we see the person, we see the soul, right? So, and so there may be that, it's given that there are 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. But at the same time, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that is given, there is Tatastha Lakshana, there is Swarup Lakshana. So Swarup Lakshana means primary quality. The primary quality is somebody is trying to surrender to Krishna. Somebody is brahmachari, somebody is grahastha, or whatever, one of us is sannyasi. Somebody is trying to surrender to Krishna. But that person or that Vaishnava may not have all other qualities. May not be humble, may not be tolerant, may not be so many things. Right? Sadhana may not be good. So many things may not be there. But this primary quality is there, that Krishnaika Sharana means trying to take shelter of the Lord. So it is given that if one has this primary quality, all other qualities will manifest later on. So we see with that angle that yes, this person is trying to surrender to Krishna. This is the great quality which this Vaishnava has. Right? Maybe a new Vaishnava, neophyte Vaishnava. Right? So we should, and then we should have the maturity to see other Vaishnavas. Right? Once I had mentioned about there was a management affair, and I was actually criticizing somebody in front of Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Swami Maharaj. Right? Maharaj is from Mauritius, and so he was in Bombay, and he was going to take the place of the new president and all like that. So I was having a desire. So I was saying these Vaishnavas are they are not doing their best and all. So Maharaj told me one thing. Right? So Maharaj told me that these Vaishnavas, they are trying to do their best within the modes of material nature. So whatever we are doing, whatever Vaishnavas are doing, they also have to fight the modes of nature. Right? So all Vaishnavas are trying to overcome ignorance, overcome passion, right? But it's not easy. It's not easy to perform spiritual activities within the modes of material nature. The modes of nature, they do not want, they are trying to pull us down. Maya is trying to pull us down. So it's a fight. So therefore, Maharaj told me that they are doing their best within the modes of material nature. So therefore, don't criticize them. So this is one thing which has stuck to me, since then. And there is one more lovely statement which I heard from Madhav Prabhu, our Madhav Prabhu who had come to Wellington. Right? He must have heard it from maybe Radhanath Swami Maharaj, or I am not sure, but I heard it from him. So he was telling me that sense gratification means someone turns their face away from Krishna. Sense gratification, overly sense gratification, if somebody is doing, then they are turning their face from Krishna. But Vaishnava Aparadh means Krishna turns his face away from the devotee. So there is a huge difference. So if we want that the whole world should look at us, but if Krishna turns his face away from us, what is the use? There is no use. So as soon as we deal in a bad way with any Vaishnava or Vaishnavi, even though they may do some mistakes, in the Jai Vijay episode, the Lord Vishnu, he says that even if the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, they commit mistakes, one should still not retaliate. So Vaishnavas may make mistakes. It's not that they won't make mistakes. But at the same time, one must always remember that if I retaliate, then I must also pay. Right? So Krishna will turn his face away from us. Right? So we cannot deal with Vaishnavas in the same way we deal with non-Vaishnavas. We cannot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Great.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Amrinder Prabhuji has also raised his hand. So Amrinder Prabhuji.
But I mentioned in the beginning, difficult questions are not allowed.
Thank you so much.
Amrinder Prabhu is asking a question means.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you
If
for.
I cannot answer, you'll have to answer your own question.
Prabhuji. I just wanted to share gratitude that I really liked so many wonderful things that you mentioned here, starting from purifying the 5 elements. I really liked how you said that the remnants of Vaishnava Aparad, that still remained in the heart of Daksha because of Aparad to Lord Shiva, did not even change his heart. So that is, yes, Prabhuji, that was really very insightful. I also liked how you mentioned that the creeper takes, or the garden takes so many years, but it takes only one moment to uproot.
Yes.
So
Facts.
these things are striking like hot iron rods in my heart. And also the importance of tilak with the body stamps that Kaliya received was very hope-giving.
Yes.
That I may not be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord and get an imprint on my body, but that same thing, that fortune that Kaliya had, that same fortune Prabhupada gave us.
Yes.
So I felt very nice, and I loved how you mentioned that the body of the spiritual master and the body of Brajavasis is like iron rod and fire. So it is iron rod, but the properties it's carrying, so wonderful. I really offer my heart filled with gratitude. Just one question, Prabhuji. You mentioned about Garuda Dvaja, so that I could not catch. If you can, I did not understand, Prabhuji.
Garuda Dvaja. Where did I mention that?
So Prabhuji, you were mentioning Garuda Dvaja with respect to Krishna using Kaliya as a vehicle to go from Vrindavan to Mathura. And you said that one of the names of the Lord is Garuda Dvaja because he uses. So I did not understand that, Prabhuji.
Yes.
So does that mean, does Garuda Dvaja mean
Krishna? Garuda Dvaja is Krishna actually. Yeah. Garuda Dvaja means Krishna whose flag is marked by the symbol of his carrier Garuda. So Kaliya wanted Krishna also to be known as Kaliya Dvaja in one sense, in the sense that not Kaliya Dvaja. I mean, he wanted to become carrier of like Garuda. So one of the names of Krishna is Garuda Dvaja.
So yeah. I could not understand the word Dvaja. So basically, Krishna's flag has the mark of Garuda.
And Krishna, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Krishna is known as Garuda Dvaja because Krishna's flag is on the chariot of Krishna. The flag contains Garuda. The flag contains Garuda. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is the 16th slide, Prabhuji, that you are talking about?
Right. Yes. Thank you very much, Amarendra Prabhu. Your association is, your presence is enough to inspire thousands of
Yes,
people.
Prabhuji. My even my millions and millions of words in appreciation will not be able to come even close to the years and years of brahmacharya and Krishna consciousness that you have maintained. So I am simply coming with a begging bowl so that I can gain some inspiration.
Hari Bol. And I have two begging bowls, one for Praneshwar Prabhu and one for Amarendra Prabhu to seek from both of you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Praneshwar Prabhu, there are a few more questions. Do you still have some more time to take those questions?
Yes, we can take some. Yes.
Okay. Pundarikaksha Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Praneshwar Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Pranam.
Dhanutram, Hare Krishna.
Very nice to see you after long time, Prabhuji.
Yes, same here. Yes.
So thank you so much for your wonderful lecture. So I got one doubt, Prabhuji. While you are explaining Saubara Muni story, so you said Garuda was coming to Yamuna to catch the fishes. So
Yes.
Garuda is a carrier of Lord Vishnu, such a pure devotee. How can I understand Garuda catches the fish to eat? So can you please explain this, Prabhuji?
Yeah. So we are taught not to eat non-veg, right? And Vaishnavas eating non-veg, right? So yeah. So but that is dependent on the body also. So there are different Vaishnavas in different bodies, like Kak Bhusundi, right? So the crow, like Kak Bhusundi, he recited Ramayana so many times, right? So now Kak Bhusundi is a Vaishnava in the form of a crow. Then Jambavan is a Vaishnava in the body of a bear. Right, so like that, when we think of Vaishnavas, we think only human Vaishnavas, but there are not only human Vaishnavas, right? There are thousands and thousands of different bodies of Vaishnavas. So therefore, in the body of a half eagle, half man, Garuda is allowed because the body is different. So natural food for the eagle is fish and snakes. It is natural food. And actually, whomsoever Garuda eats, they are delivered actually. It is mentioned, right, somewhere, I can't pinpoint it right now, but it is mentioned that whosoever becomes the food for Garuda, they are delivered when they are eaten. So one should be eager to be eaten by Garuda. Not that right, like Saubhari Muni, he didn't understand, and therefore he had to actually pay. I hope
Thank
this
you so
was
much. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Sannivas Prabhu and Lavanga Mataji, they have a question. Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Nice to meet you after a long time.
Yes.
Prabhuji, we get in Bhagavad Gita, it says that Name Bhakta Pranashyati.
Yes.
Is that my devotee never perishes.
Hmm.
And in Vaishnava Aparad, we
Yes.
say that it's a mad elephant, everything will be taken away. So
Yes.
what is the reconciliation of that one to this one? So I want to understand just a bit deeper meaning of this.
Yeah. So Name Bhakta Pranashyati means the devotee's devotion will never perish. And this is true even if the devotee takes birth again. Right? So it is true for all material conditions, but it is not true in the case of Vaishnava Aparad. Only in the case of Vaishnava Aparad, right, the credit, devotional credit is crushed. It is crushed. So one loses all taste for chanting and for all other devotional things. We see so many devotees We may sometimes see so many devotees committing Vaishnava aparadha, and we may think that nothing is happening to this devotee. We may think like that. This devotee keeps on criticizing, right? Nothing, but no, it's not like that. Right? It may take some time, but not even a speck of Vaishnava aparadha will go unpaid. Right? So it's only a matter of time. So one loses taste in all devotional activities, including chanting, which is the main activity. So Name Bhakta Pranashyati is when Krishna becomes angry, slightly angry. It is given Krishna becomes slightly angry. Right? So Kaunteya Pratijani Name Bhakta Pranashyati. So that is for sinful activities. Supposing if right, apichet suduracharo bhajati mamanam bhag sadhurivasya mantavya samyak vyavsito hi saha shipram bhavati dharmatma shakshat shantim nigachati kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. Right, so these are the two verses. So here what is being mentioned is that my devotee will never be overcome by sin. So in that particular purport, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that some traces of bad habits will be there from past life. Right? Some past life traces of sinful activities may be there. But a devotee is not overcome by that, not affected by that. These sinful activities, even if they are performed, they are like the biting of a snake whose poison has been already taken out. So therefore, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Arjuna, go and declare that this Vaishnava is still a Vaishnava. He is still a devotee. He will not be affected by those sinful reactions. This is what Krishna is saying when he is saying Name Bhakta Pranashyati. But Krishna is not saying that my devotee might commit Vaishnava aparadha and still nothing is going to happen to his devotional service. He doesn't say that. The word aparadha means against Srimati Radharani. Aparadha, that means against devotional service. Right? So Vaishnava aparadha means we are actually displeasing Krishna, we are displeasing Srimati Radharani. So therefore it must act. Right? So no guarantee against Vaishnava aparadha.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much,
And
Prabhuji.
also, can you give the remedy for it as well, Prabhuji? So it became very heavy to know that Vaishnava aparadhas are very, very hard.
Yeah, so we should not become paranoid about it. Right? We should not think that best is not to be with Vaishnavas because then I don't commit Vaishnava aparadha at all. If we are not in the association of devotees, either electronically or by any means, then we cannot progress. Our progress will become stagnant. Right? By hearing this, we should only learn that we should take more and more association and at the same time be careful not to offend Vaishnavas. Krishna loves Vaishnavas and therefore Krishna gets offended. Krishna can tolerate anybody who says anything against him. This is what he says to Durvasa Muni. He says, anybody saying anything against me, fine, no issues, no problem. But if somebody says anything against my devotee, I cannot tolerate. So we keep that in mind, and while dealing with Vaishnavas, we deal in a very respectful way. And the opposite of Vaishnava aparadha is Vaishnava Seva. So we should always be in a service mood towards Vaishnavas. Try to serve Vaishnavas as much as possible.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Praneshwar Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I also have one question. You were referring to Kaliya as like a representation of pride and envy. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
the Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually mentions
yes.
that. Yes.
So Kaliya is the pride and envy, and that pride and envy is in my heart.
Right.
So how do I now remove that pride and envy? Like what are some of the practical tips that you can provide me so that I can do that anartha nivritti?
Yeah. So once I heard in Maharaj's lecture, actually, my Guru Maharaj's lecture, that Krishna danced on Kaliya, right, in order to remove the pride and envy. So when Krishna dances on our tongue, then our pride and envy can be removed. Now, how does Krishna dance on our tongue? When we chant carefully. If you chant carefully, then Krishna will dance on our tongue. And by that dancing of Krishna within our tongue, right, from the tongue, Krishna progresses to the heart. It is given. It's given in one of the books of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that how even Tunde Tundavali, that verse is there, that how Krishna progresses from the tongue to the heart. So Krishna has to dance within our heart, first within our tongue and then within our heart. So what does that mean? Krishna will do that, but our part is it's a whole process, of course, right? But if we summarize it, then we can say, because chanting is one of the main processes, right? So we chant very carefully and we avoid all kinds of offenses. We avoid Namaprad, we avoid Vaishnava Prad, we avoid Seva Prad, we avoid Jiva Prad. These are the 4 apradhas given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And apart from this, there is Dhamma. There are 5 types of offenses. If we avoid offenses and chant very carefully, very nicely, every day, and of course 4 regulative principles. These 3 things. These are the foundations. Actually, we have the foundation is what is most important in the building always. After the building is made, supposing if we remove the foundation thinking that now it is not required, the building will fall. So the foundation is always the most important part of the building. So our foundation is chanting 16 good rounds and more rounds. Our foundation is the 4 regulative principles. Our foundation is the morning program and avoiding offenses. Very important, avoiding offenses. Then the process must work. Then Krishna will dance on our tongue. And then tada rajastamo bhavo kamalobhadayasche chetayetira naviddam sattve, what is that? Sattve stitam prasiddhati. The process is that after this happens, then tada rajastamo bhavo, passion and ignorance will leave the heart. Sattvam sthite prasiddhati, goodness will preside on the heart. So first the positive has to happen, then only negatives will go out. If pride and envy have to go out, then first there has to be goodness within us, which will come when we have to force the mode of goodness in our life, because our mind doesn't want it. Our mind doesn't want mode of goodness, but we have to force. And that is through the means of devotional activities only. Whatever devotional activities we are doing right now, it is actually in the mode of goodness. We are performing in the mode of goodness. If we do it nicely, then we are doing it in goodness.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhuji. That was a very wonderful answer and very touching to my heart, that we always hear that, oh, we have to chant and that it will work or whatever. But as you gave that analogy that Krishna had to dance on Kaliya's head to subdue him, similarly, Lord Krishna has to actually dance on our tongue to subdue our anarthas. I think that has a very deep impact on my heart. I hope that I can be able to improve my chanting and remove my anarthas.
If all of you bless me, then I would be able to do some good chanting and enhance my devotional service also.
Prabhuji, you just being here and giving your association, we are all getting purified. We can only pray for all the devotees, and you can actually pray for all the devotees, and then that is how we can progress.
So mutual contract. All of you pray for me, I'll pray for you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Are there any further questions anyone has for Prabhuji? No. Thank you very much, Praneshwar Prabhuji. That was a very insightful session and very interesting question and answers, which I'm sure they are going to help everyone here. And thank you very much for finding time in your very, very busy schedule. When I actually read that long list of centers that you are running, it is just like mind-blowing that just looking after one congregation, one set of smaller congregation is so hard, but you're looking at this 15, 20 places and you're expanding.
There are many devotees in the team. I'm not alone. Right? We have a big team of devotees who are managing these different centers and all.
But everyone requires guidance. And Krishna
Yes.
Shakti vina nahi tara pravartan. So we can see that Krishna Shakti is within you. So please come back here, Prabhuji, in Wellington when it is possible for you, like when the situation improves. We are eagerly waiting for you. And we want to have more association, because now we couldn't have your association for last 2-3 years.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. Then I could not have an association, I should say.
So we are waiting for it, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So
very
to
happy
show
to be within the sincere devotees. There's so many sincere devotees in Wellington, and every time I came, it was really I should say surcharging my own spiritual life.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So to show our gratitude for Prabhuji.
Prabhuji's hand has gone up. Maybe have one more question.
Do you want to take it, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Bharadwajashi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam. Nice lecture, Prabhuji. My doubt is that, Prabhuji, you said before in this leela that the munis, they counteract their curses. Like if one muni curse and the other muni also curse.
Yes.
Being that big exhausted devotee, they are top devotee, like they are exalted devotees. They don't know we should not counteract back because like it is Vaishnava aparat, like how Narada did.
Yes. So that's why I said there's a difference between those sages and pure devotees. They're not completely pure devotees. They're sages, they are doing austerities, tapasyas. So if you do austerities and you acquire power, cursing power, right? But at the same time, you're not pure Vaishnava, then you're not able to handle that power. So these sages are mostly in the mode of goodness, but with tinges of passion, right, and ignorance. Cursing means anger. Anger means ignorance, right? So they are mostly on the platform of goodness, but with tinges of passion and ignorance. Whereas pure devotees like Narad Muni and all, right, they, even though Daksha cursed Narad Muni, Daksha Prajapati, Narad Muni did not curse back. Chitraketu, right, even though Parvati Devi cursed Chitraketu, Chitraketu had the power to counter curse even Parvati Devi. Just imagine, but he did not curse back. Right. So therefore, we can see therefore that there is a difference between pure Vaishnavas and those who are mostly, we can say, in the mode of goodness. So the mode of goodness also, they are devotees only, just like demigods are Sakama Bhaktas. They are also Bhaktas only, but they are not pure Bhaktas. So this is the difference.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that has given rise to another question, looks like that.
Okay.
Nritya
Okay.
Gopal Krishna Prabhuji, possibly this will be the last one we can take.
Yes,
Prabhuji
please.
has many services.
Yes.
So we'll take that last question and then we can.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna,
much.
Nitya
So,
Gopal.
Prabhu, just a follow-up question on Mataji's question. Then how is it that they get the opportunity where Lord Krishna is going to dance on their head? I mean, if they're not the pure devotees, how did they get entrance into the leela of Lord Krishna and get his personal association?
Yes, so sages, see, when Krishna comes, there are different personalities who take part in the leela. Right, so when Krishna comes, the demigods also take part, even though they are not pure Vaishnavas. They get an opportunity. Just like Abhimanyu is actually Somadev's son, moon god's son. And moon god wanted his son only to remain there for 14-15 years. That is why Abhimanyu remained only for that many years, and he went back. So when Krishna comes, or when any incarnation comes, there are three the associates are from three places. One is from the spiritual world. Second is from the demigod planets, and third is whoever is there on earth at that time, if they are qualified enough. So so the qualification is not only pure devotees. Other personalities also get a chance to take part in the leela.
So that would be just their good fortune. That or just
Sorry?
So it will be their good fortune just by
Yes, good fortune, and also in
luck of the draw a little
they are
bit.
in the mode of goodness,
Right.
right? Like that, Just like the sages and all in the heavenly planet, they get to see Upendra, Vamandev, even though they are not pure Vaishnavas. So Krishna gives an opportunity to others also. Yes, to be purified.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Praneshwar Prabhuji.
Thank you.
To show our gratitude, let's chant one more time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
His Grace Praneshwar Prabhuji ki
Jai.
Jai Amarendra Prabhu ki jai and Wellington ki jai. Thank you very much, Amarendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you don't have to thank. You don't have to thank me, Prabhuji. I gained profusely by your class and such wonderful questions. In fact, some of those questions, when I was hearing, then I didn't realize that I also had that question, but I didn't even realize that I had it. So when someone asked it, then I was thinking, oh wow, that is such a relevant and an important question. And so many things that you were mentioning, even in the answer, so brilliant, Prabhuji. It's like out of experience backed with service and sadhana and kripa of Sri Guru and compassionate heart of a preacher. So we were standing under a rain shower. So thank you, Prabhuji.
I am gained by your classes so much. Thank you for that. Okay, Hare Krishna.